In today's episode, we're going to talk Granny Square blankets, the Illuminate sweater by Andrea Mowry, and Gouache portraits. So grab something warm to drink and let's get cozy. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Wool Needles Hands podcast. My name is Tayler Earl, and I will be your host. This is a podcast primarily about knitting, though I do get up to other crafty things from time to time. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I have a lot to share with you, and I do have some admin that I want to catch up on as well. But before we get started with that, I want to share with you what I have in my mug today. Today, I am drinking out of my Endor Ewoks mug, Star Wars mug, if you aren't already aware. I love this. I got this one, and then there's one other that comes in the set as kind of a Christmas gift for my husband and I 2 years ago, and we love them. They're just really cute camp mugs. And of course, who doesn't love Ewoks? I am drinking in my mug vanilla chai, and the waft of vanilla chai that's like filling the space right now is amazing. This aroma is just fall to me. Everything about that chai, spice, and that vanilla is just fall. That's what I think of when I think of fall. I know pumpkin spice and pumpkin pie spice and all of that is a real big one for fall, but this is my fall aroma and I love it. And that's what's going on in here. There's just enough caffeine to get me through the rest of the afternoon. We actually just returned home. We did some grocery shopping. We had lunch, did grocery shopping, but before that, we did open skate at the Lifeguard Arena, which is a skating center that is in Old Town Henderson. It's where the Las Vegas, or the Henderson Silver Knights practice, which is our minor league hockey team here in Las Vegas. They practice there. It has 2 giant ice rinks. It's this amazing facility, but they do open skate, just public skate. And then our boys take skating lessons there every Monday. And they're doing great. And so we try to go to open skate at least once a week. And I sit on this, most of the time I skate with them. Today I was sitting on the bench, whatever you call that. I was sitting there watching them skate, and I was working on my Illuminate pullover. So I got some work done on that, just to have it prepped and ready to share with you guys today. Which leads me not to that yet, but to some admin that we need to cover before we carry on with all the yummy knitting and crafty goodness. Okay, Felix for Fall Knit Along is a comin', folks. It's launching on October 1st. This is where we are knitting Felix pullovers or cardigans by Amy Christophers of Savory Knitting for fall. I have a deadline set for December 1st, but that is completely fluid and that can change. So if we need to go a little bit longer, if people need a little bit more time as a whole, then that's fine. So we'll not sweat the deadline so much. We just want to make sure we focus on the start date, which is October 1st. So the admin-y thing about that I wanted to cover today, though, was that you can also knit the pullover or the cardigan. You don't just have to be working on the pullover. And that's really all I'm going to say about that, because all of the details about the knit along can be found over on the Ravelry group for the podcast, which is linked down below. You can also find it on Instagram. On my Instagram feed, you'll see a post there that has a picture of all the Felixes, and it'll have information there. I think the easiest place to get information for the knit along, though, is over on Ravelry. Even if you don't have a well, I guess you can't see it if you don't have a Ravelry account, but I'll drop all of the details for the knit along right down in the description box, so it's just easy access if you don't happen to use Ravelry. If you want to know more about the knit along, check out 2 videos ago, because I did an entire podcast episode just dedicated to the knit along, and you can learn everything that there is to know about it there, and then read the comments below, because there were some questions that were asked that I clarified down below, and I might be forgetting them here, but I think we're good. Okay, any other admin coming up? Oh, Fiber for the People, my hand-dyed yarn business, is having a shop update this Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time? Daylight time still? I think it's still daylight time. 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time over at fiberforthepeople.com. If you want to know more about Fiber for the People, head over to Instagram or just check in the description box below. All of the information is down there. Definitely come over to the shop update. Wool Needles Hands viewers get 10% off if you use the code WNH at checkout. But yeah, so definitely be there for the shop update this Saturday. Let's see, is there anything else admin-y that I want to get into? I can't think of it. Okay, let's go ahead and get started, because I am so excited to share with you guys my new trajectory for my Illuminate pullover by Andrea Mowry. Okay, last time we chatted about this, I was kind of having a snafu. I don't think I was there was a snafu. I was just experiencing some frustration with this sweater. I had chosen originally, way back when I started this, which was almost a year ago now, that I didn't want to do stripes. The Illuminate pullover has stripes. It's color work at the top, and then the rest of the body is striped. And I just thought that I was going to forego the stripes. I just wanted the color work to be the hero and everything else just to be nice stockinette. But what was happening is the fabric that was being created from the two strands of Surrey being held together, which is kind of something that the pattern calls for. Well, I take that back. I don't know if the pattern calls for a floofy yarn in addition to the spin cycle, but the way that I was doing it, I was pairing two strands of the Surrey together to create kind of a heavy fingering weight to pair with the spin cycle yarn. In the Rusted Rainbow color. This is Fiber for the People in the leather colorway on Surrey Silky, and then this is Rusted Rainbow by Spin Cycle. All of this is listed on my Ravelry page or down below in the description box. But what was happening was the gauge of those two strands of Surrey in just plain stockinette on the same needle size that I was using for the color work was just off. The fabric was too open. Everything was just more voluminous because of the gauge being off. And I had quite a bit, well, not quite a bit, but I'd made some progress in that kind of in that manner, and I was just noticing it was just starting to look too wide. There was just going to be too much fabric around the middle, and a lot of you guys commented in the on the Felix for Fall knit along video 2 videos ago. That's where I brought this up. A lot of you guys commented that Andrea Mowry patterns are kind of notorious for having a lot of fabric around the middle, and I was definitely seeing that here. I have noticed that with other designs of hers, but they've never really detracted from the appeal of the design before. But in person, with what I was seeing happening, I was like, that is going to become a tent dress if I don't make some modifications. And so after reading your comments suggesting going down a needle size, reducing the number of stitches, a lot of different things, I felt like it was so helpful that I finally decided, you know what, I do need to go back. I can't just keep going. It is going to be too much fabric. But the compromise that I made was I went back and I changed my needle size. I went down a needle size, and then I'm going to stripe. So I am going to use the stripes that the pattern calls for as kind of a way to gird in the fabric, because I think that those stripes will help to, this is upside down, obviously, but you can see there's the color work section, which is really pretty. And instead of just that plain stockinette in the leather, I am gonna do the stripes, and this is the first stripe right here, and I'm working on the second stripe now in that Rusted Rainbow. So yeah, I am gonna use the stripes. I feel like that's gonna do a pretty good job keeping things controlled. Like I said, girding, the fabric a little bit so it doesn't just become too voluminous. I would have preferred not to have stripes, but now that I'm seeing it, I think that it's a, what is the word that I used? A compromise that I'm okay with, because ultimately it's gonna be beautiful, and I get to see some more of that pretty Rusted Rainbow yarn in action because it's just so gorgeous. So that is where we stand on my Illuminate pullover by Andrea Mowry. I'm much more excited to work on this now. I am keeping this in my Magner Project Bag. This is a project bag company out of Athens, Georgia. I'll link to them down below. Their bags are incredible. Incredibly made. This is real leather. The leather ages beautifully. Yeah, it's real leather, beautiful waxed canvas. It has all the pockets that you need on the inside with the grommets for strands of yarn. You can kind of see that here. Really good grommets in there. I like that they're that brass color. Yeah, these are fantastic project bags. If you were a fan of Fringe Supply Company project bags, these personally, in my opinion, are better. The pockets, they have a zipper pocket. They have the little like narrow pouches. They have the grommets. They have the whole kit and caboodle, and they're really well made. So loving that. Yeah, that's what I'm keeping my Illuminate in. I'm gonna go ahead and set this out of the way because the next thing I have to share with you is Mighty. And I don't even know where to begin because this is probably the fastest progressing spontaneous project I've ever worked on. It's amazing. So, okay, background on this. It's a crochet project. What was I doing? I was at Mothership Coffee, which is my favorite coffee place in the whole world, just like 1 block away from my house. And I was watching a podcast? I don't even know. I think I was watching Kristen's podcast, formerly the Volenvine podcast, and she had gone to Michael's and picked up some Karen cakes, and she was crocheting a mitered square quilt. This is one of her recent episodes. And she was talking about how she went into Michael's and she was looking through all their yarn, and then she started showing like the pattern, and I was just thinking, I wanted to crochet a proper granny square blanket for a while, and I feel like I got it in my head somewhere that I needed to be using either Fiber for the People yarn or some kind of fancy schmancy bougie yarn to make a granny square blanket, or not even that I needed to use like scraps of stuff that I had in my stash to like bust my stash, whatever. And I was watching her, and sometimes it takes like watching another maker I don't even need to tell you this, you already get it because that's what knitting podcasts are all about. But when you watch somebody else do something, it's like so inspirational, and you think like, yeah, that just sounds amazing. Just the idea of walking into Michael's and just being carefree and looking through all of the yarn at Michael's to make something for your home that's, easy to maintain. You can throw it in the washing machine, what have you. And I decided that's what I was gonna do. I'm gonna go to Michael's. I'm gonna see if I can find some yarn to make a giant granny square blanket for the house. I don't know where it's gonna go yet, but that's what I wanted to do. All this is to say, I started a granny square blanket with some yarn that I picked up at Michael's, and that's what I want to share with you guys right now. So wait for it. It's amazing. So I brushed up on my granny square skills by using a tutorial, and I can't think of the maker's name. Again, this tutorial is going to be linked in the description box. A great tutorial if you want to learn granny squares. And I watched that and I was off to the races. I was just like, okay, I got it. Let's move it. Let's do it. And I started, well here, let me stand up to show you this because it's really pretty big at this point. So here is what I have so far. What? Like, hello. It's super big already, you guys. I started this. Look at that. And look at those beautiful colors. I love these colors. Okay, you can get the gist of the size. I'm gonna go ahead and sit down now so we can chat about this because I'm so excited about it. It's so cozy and soft, and the colors are fantastic. Okay. All this is a granny square. Just one giant granny square. There's nothing else fancy about this. It's just like you start a granny square and you just never stop, and eventually you have a blanket. And that's what this is. So the yarn that I picked up to make this is, I believe it's a brand that is exclusive to Michael's. It's that Loops and Threads. This right here. Loops and Threads Chenille Home Slim. It is 218 yards per ball, and it's super bulky weight, so it's a 6 when you code it, but it's super bulky, and it uses an 8mm hook, which is what I have. So this is my Clover hook, 8mm. I love these. These are my favorite. I don't have a lot of experience with a lot of different crochet hooks, but I just do really love these. This flat spot right here makes all the difference for some reason. I don't really know why, but they're great. So that is what I'm using. I'm literally just doing a granny square based on that tutorial that I linked down below, and I'm using the size hook that is recommended for the yarn on the ball band. Yeah, so pretty simple. Colors. I chose these colors. When I was standing in the aisle, I had some balls of yarn kind of out, putting colors together, and I felt like I just wanted to see a color palette and then go for it with the yarn. And so I searched on Pinterest, like, color palette. I did that. I was like, let's just type in color palette and see what you could find. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So I typed in color palette. Okay. And you get all these little color palettes. See that? Yeah, really great way to kind of figure out your color scheme for your project. And the one that I chose, even though it's not exactly the same, it kind of gave me the inspiration for this because I really loved that kind of that turquoisey blue with that rusted out orange and of course the mustard tones. And then I thought this sandy kind of neutral would be a good one for the neutral color. So the colors that I've chosen in this loops and threads, I have, where is it? Oh, terracotta. This is terracotta. I caked them after I used them because they became really just like a puddle of yarn, so I caked them up. This is the terracotta color. And then this one I know is called mustard. It's like the same as my shirt. This one is petrol blue. I'm like noticing, oh my gosh, you guys. Are you noticing like a theme here? I didn't do that intentionally. That would be funny if I did. And then this is called sand. And then I think I dropped it on the floor. Yeah, this color, this gray is called slate gray. And I think honestly, I feel like that kind of, I'm glad I'm using that. I don't know. I had a couple other options. This ball behind me back here. No, not that one. Hold on. Okay, so I had I had thought or mulled around the prospect of using this color. It's called rose in the blanket as well. But now that I'm kind of seeing where this is going, I don't think that I'm going to use it. It's really pretty, but I don't think that I'm going to use it. I can save it down the road for something else. My dear friend and actually next door neighbor, she is thinking about doing one as well. And so I told her whatever I had left over, she can have for her own. And so I might give her that and see if she can add it to hers. I also had this, which based on that picture that I showed you, I grabbed this because of that. So there was like a purple in there. Let me see. Yeah, so there's a purple at the bottom, and I kind of grabbed that because of the purple. But I'm not so sure. I don't know. Part of me wants to use this color after this gray color. But I don't know. And then another part of me just thinks like not to mess with the color palette that I already have. I know I'm not showing this very well. But part of me also just thinks that I should go back and start the pattern again with this. I don't know. I haven't decided. Let me know what you think. Do you like this purple? Do you think that I should put this in there? It would pretty much be, all of these together. This is the heart. Everything is so big. Okay, hold on. There. And then, of course, that slate gray. I guess it looks pretty cool. Maybe that purple would work. I'm going to consider that. As it stands, I can't work on this anymore because I ran out of the slate gray. So today, after I get done podcasting, I'm going to hop in the car to Michael's and see if I can pick up a couple more balls of that gray so that I can finish this band of color. But yeah, I honestly just really think you should crochet a granny square blanket. Go to that tutorial I linked to down below in the description box. Watch it. It's simple. Look at how much blanket I have, and I started this 2 days ago. And it's not even like I've been working on this tirelessly for the last 2 days. I work on it at night when we watch our show. We take our kids out to play in the street with the neighbor kids. We are on a very quiet street. We don't just let our kids go play in the street, but we go out there, we put out our chairs, the neighbor kids, their moms and dads come out because we're all really good friends, and we just sit out there and watch our kids play. It's the greatest. So yeah, this is a fantastic gift if you want to just have a new blanket for fall and winter. You guys, come on. So yeah, that is what I have so far of my giant granny square blanket, and I'm so excited about that. The sucker's going to be finished before we meet again next Sunday, and I can't wait to show you. I have to figure out where in the house it's going to go, but I'm so excited for it to be finished and us to get cozy with it because the weather is starting to cool down. It's starting to kind of look like fall outside. Perfect time to have a nice cozy new blanket for fall. So as you know from my podcast episode 3 episodes ago, in the time that I was away from podcasting, I had picked up gouache and watercolor painting, and I've developed this new love for this art form so much. So yeah, that's something that I've been doing on the side is gouache painting, and I love it. And I did a portrait. I showed this to you on that first episode. I did this portrait. So you might be familiar with this from a couple episodes ago. She is lovely. She has this amazing facial expression. She's just so beautifully disinterested. I don't know. I just love her facial expression. And I thought that this kind of look, I thought I wanted to do more of that. I wanted to do more portraits with this gouache paint that had this kind of like austere look about it. Almost like a collection of portraits that were, bordering on that cartoony look, but still just enough realism to get that, expression across. And so I took another stab at a portrait. And this is one that I sketched. I sketched it first. I transferred it into this book because this is watercolor paper, and then I painted it. And she is, she's very she kind of reminds you a little of like a Frida Kahlo, in her look. This is based off of a photograph. I added, so the dress, I changed the color of the dress, kind of added some detail here. Now she is much more cartoony, and there's kind of a juvenile nature to the way that I drew this and painted it. And I love that. I kind of just really love that fun look. And especially considering the fact that she has such a serious look on her face, that paired with the cartoony, the thick black lines, looking the way that it does, I think it's a really interesting combination. So I love her, and I love her yellow background, and I'm really proud of the way that the flower kind of wreath came out. It's super abstract when you get up close, but from a distance, it really kind of does the job, in my opinion. So yeah, she's really cool. I'm not sure what I'm going to call her, but I do really love her. I have been calling these two ladies my damsels, and I was thinking it would be kind of cool to do a collection of like these damsels that, they all kind of look a little different, but they have these very serious faces. So I'm working on something like that, having fun with gouache in general, and I just thought I would share that with you guys here because it's just another one of my crafty loves, and maybe it can inspire you guys to try gouache. It's just a lot of fun to paint with. You get really great contrast. You can paint light over dark and dark over light. It's super engaging. And if you're into color, it is so therapeutic in that color therapy kind of way. I love it. If you would like to see more of my of gouache, if you would like me to talk more about it, I could do a few spin-off episodes where I'm just showing you the gouaches that I use, my paints that I use, maybe a couple really simple techniques and some kind of shorter videos for those of you that might be interested. I would honestly love to do that. So really all you need to do is just let me know down below in the comments. It's a really great rabbit hole to go down if you think that you might want something like that to kind of be a diversion for you from your normal crafts. It's just a really good route to go. So I would love to do that. But in the meantime, I'll just be sharing little tidbits here and there as I work on them. But that is pretty much my collection of things to share with you guys today. I am so excited for the knit along starting on October 1st. There will be a few podcast episodes. Well, okay, so Sunday, October 1st, will be a podcast episode, and it will also be the launch of the Felix for Fall Knit Along. So I am so excited. If you are ready to join, if you want to join, talk about it down below in the comment section. Go over to Instagram, get your yarn together, get some photos, some fun preparation photos, your work in progress photos. Use the hashtag Felix for Fall Knit Along, or Felix for Fall KAL, and get involved. I am so happy to have all of you. I cannot wait. It's going to be a lot of fun knitting. Felix is for fall. Yeah, looking forward to that. Also, don't miss out on the Fiber for the People shop update coming on Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you guys so much for spending this time with me. I know you have a lot of choices when it comes to podcasts to watch, so I so appreciate it when you choose to spend this time with me. Until next time that we see each other, happy knitting, happy making, happy whatever it is that you're doing. Be well, take care, and I will see you soon. Bye.